Welcome, listeners, to this episode of Listen Kristi. We're here with one of Kristi's nearest and dearest, and those friends that we all like to keep in the closet because if we let them out, they know too many of the deep, dark skeleton secrets that we like to have and keep in the closet. I would say that Cynthia, who is our guest today,
the crypt keeper,
is the absolute. I knew I loved her before I met her. So, without further ado, I'll let him get into it.
Well, thank you for doing this at the last minute.
Thanks for asking me, and it's the least I could do after you married me at the.
I'm always good for shit like that. I was telling Reagan, the super producer, that she goes, now, how do you know her? It was 25 years ago this month.
Wow.
Like the first week of June that I moved to New Orleans.
That's impossible. What are we living in a capsule? We're barely.
I know, right? We got so much fun out of telling the story about when you and I would go to our favorite restaurant, 1179, and eat at 6 o'clock.
Yes, in the lesbian loge.
Yeah. It was funny. We used to say there was only two small tables in the bar. And Joe, that owned the restaurant, I'd say, what is this, Joe? The lesbian loge section?
Kristi and I had gone to the infamous 1179 one night, and it was full of people. And she had had a cocktail or two, and she was insistent that this gentleman was waving at her. And I start looking around, and I said, are you listening to what I'm saying? And I could tell she's looking past me, looking around. So I was getting I was like, what? She says, he keeps waving at me. And every time I look back, there's
nobody.
He's not even looking in our direction. But she keeps on, he's waving at me. It goes on 2 or 3 more minutes. And finally, she says, well, I have to go to the bathroom. Well, she goes the wrong way to the bathroom. So she goes by this guy's table. And he's there, and there's a whole bunch of people, 8 or 10 people. It was his, an office party of some sort. And so, Kristi, go ahead. You take it from there when you told me.
Yeah, well, I asked him, I ask him, I said, do we know each other?
Yeah.
I said, do we know each other? And he's like, I said, well, you just kept waving at me. And he's like, was I? And I was like, yeah, you were. And so I said, assuming, he said he was at, this is my office, so I assumed everybody there worked with him. And I said, you, he may have given me his card.
Yeah.
And you're watching all this go down.
Yeah. And so now he's being a lot freer. And then this woman comes back to the table. And I said, what's it like working with such a Casanova or something like that? And she's like, I don't know. We don't work together. We're just engaged. It's like, oh, I think that's my cue.
I should leave now.
I should leave now.
And that's where it ends?
Yeah.
That was it. We were out. We had to.
So who was he waving at?
He was not waving. He was not even looking. My girlfriend says maybe he was waving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't know how great we had it then. Life was pretty damn good. No complaints now, but it was we really had a fun time. I mean, you could just go every art gallery, every bar, you're going to wave, you're going to know somebody in there. It felt like a neighborhood.
Yeah, it was a neighborhood. It was a great neighborhood. And we had Kristi and I at one point shared a housekeeper. And so she worked for me 3 or 4 days a week and worked for Kristi one day. I end up firing her. And I tell Kristi, she asked, I don't even remember her name. She asked, well, where is she? I said, fired her. And so, I don't know, a week or so later, Kristi's over and she comes to my house and she's turning on the television and she wants to watch court TV or whatever it was, some trial that was on. And so I said, why don't you watch it at your house? She says, because the housekeeper's sleeping. She doesn't want me
She doesn't want to be bothered. I said, it's her nap time.
She's taking a nap. I was like, she's what? I had to go over there and fire her.
A second time.
I'll fire you for my friend, too. That was great.
Oh, my gosh. Just so much. So much fun.
Yeah, it was a fun fact.
I just look back and think it's amazing that we're all
Alive.
upright, we're alive. Nobody ended up in jail. Nobody, I mean, maybe we weren't as wild as we thought we were.
And what was the moment that you two actually did meet? Were you just at a party or somebody introduced you?
No, we were at John and Peggy's.
Oh, John and Peg, yeah. Friends of mine from Dallas. It was his niece, and that's how. And we met through John and Peggy.
Yeah, and she needed a ride home, and we were fast friends after that. It was easy.
We're like, we're neighbors.
It was free and easy, and Kristi was so, she can, and you know that, Alyssa, I mean, she could fit in anywhere. She could fit in with my construction company guys, and she could fit in, at a society event. So it was easy to hang out.
Yeah, and I just, Cynthia call and say, hey, we have a thing to do tonight. We do? Somebody wants to hang out with us?
Well, and Cynthia strikes me as somebody who's always got a bag of tricks, somebody who's great in an emergency, and
I have a ball gown in my trunk. Let's go.
Yeah, well, exactly.
We ride at dawn.
Or I know somebody who can get us out of this.
I got a guy
and an alibi. That's what
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, I look back and think about all the fun and just time should have froze. That was one time in my life that I really wish that you could go back and relive, that you don't realize in the moment the people that you're with, just what rich characters they are.
Just how rare people like that really are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, feel truly, truly blessed.
We were blessed, and we took care of each other, and we went through the ups and downs and life changes. And Kristi and I have gone years, and not had, not that we were not having conversation, whatever, but just life takes you in a little different direction. And then when you're together, it's exactly the same as it always was. And you never missed any time. And I love her. I love, that we have this relationship that has weathered decades at this point and many, many changes.
I have to tell you that recently, I guess it was Atticus Finch Day about 2 weeks ago, and they had a speaker come at A&M, and it was my old friend Jerry Goldstein, who's the famous criminal defense lawyer from San Antonio. And he represented Hunter Thompson and Manuel Noriega, quite a few high-profile characters. And so he and another friend of mine, actually they're cousins, Kent Schaefer, they were in town for like a criminal defense lawyer convention.
This was in New Orleans.
It was in New Orleans. Yeah. Everybody wants to have a convention in New Orleans. So I end up, I can't remember if Kent called, somehow I ran into them somewhere, and so they said, let's all do dinner tonight at Emeril's. So we got this covered, and so we get there, and it is just packed. I mean, the people are on top of the people. It's the place to be seen, and you always tell when there's like a high roller type event in town, or if it's just a convention or whatever, that the wine's pouring different, the people are just ready to have a good time, they're extra. Well, speaking of extra, we had this girlfriend that she was extra. I just don't know how to describe her any other way. She's a lot. She's about 5'11", and she just was funny. And she walks in to Emeril's, and she has this way of she can smell power.
Yeah, if there's a powerful man in the room,
there may be 1,000 men in the room. She's gonna find.
She's gonna find him. Wealth and power. That's her specialty.
Yes. So she's scanning the room, and I'm telling Cynthia, I said, oh my God, Cathy just walked in. Avert your eyes. Avert your eyes. So we don't want her walking over where we are. Not that we're trying to hog these two fine lawyers for ourselves. I've known them a long time. It's just you don't want people to think what your life is really like with all these crazy friends. So she's the kind of person that if a little scarf was like fashionable, she'd have one on each arm, one on each ankle, one around here. There'd be 10 of something. Well, she kind of has a model type body stride. She's 5'11", close to 6 feet, short, pixie hair, very striking. Yeah. And she has this low-slung hip belt thing that
she's got leggings on and some sort of little.
It's like a unitard with a fancy
belt on. Yeah.
Belt. So the guys don't know that we know her. And she's walking through the crowd, and we're in the dead center of the room. And she walks over, and she looks at both of them, and she said, good evening, boys. Low-slung hip belts are back. Boom. Right in their face. And we're kind of looking down, and then she just turns on her heels and walks off. That was it. That was the report.
That was her mic drop moment?
Yeah. Low-slung hip belts are back. And they're like,
pranced on out.
Did you know her? And I said, her who?
We don't know.
We don't know her. But I mean, it's just like.
Is Cathy still around doing Cathy tricks?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, wherever.
I think she's in Florida someplace. I think she lives.
With her belt.
She met the Colonel, remember?
Yeah, the Colonel.
Yeah.
And, but she always had some kind of costumey.
Yeah, she was great. She was one of a kind. I'm going to tell a little story on her. She, just to tell you the kind of character she was, I used to own a bar out at the lakefront in New Orleans, and, it's kind of the hop happening place. And this is they were doing a lot of ocean racing boats, those guys were hanging out. And so there was a big race in town. So all those wealthy, drug dealing, Miami Vice kind of guys are there. And so Cathy comes in one day, and she's this kind of girl that loves like the backstage pass, and she loves all that stuff that goes with it. So
I'm with the band.
Yeah, I'm with the band. That's what the deal. So she comes in, and she's got a lanyard on and some sort of placard that says VIP and, whatever boat it was, So that was day one. Now, I own this bar, and everybody's kind of hanging out there. Day two, she comes in with with her VIP lanyard and a cap and a scarf that is the colors of this boat. Day three, she comes in on like a little vest with all of that stuff, and she's added a Vespa to the whole thing that obviously goes with the boat and all of that, the same colors. By the end of the week, she was moving to Miami. She did.
And look at her jewelry.
Well, she moved to Miami with the boat, with the guys, with the drugs, with the whole thing. She went from her VIP pass and she had a Mercedes by the end of the thing. So
didn't you have to go rescue her?
Yeah, we did have to go rescue her. She goes to Miami with these. I mean, this was kind of a tough crowd, I mean, all of those stories you hear are kind of true. So she ends up taking off to Miami with these guys, and that worked out for a little while until she starts looking all over every time she looks someplace in the apartment or the condo, wherever they were living, they had cocaine, like keys and keys of cocaine, like stashed everywhere, in the oven, in the closets, and, and so she was ready to come home, and they weren't quite ready to, to say you could go. So we had to get somebody to go rescue her in Miami, bring her home.
I got a guy.
I got a guy. That's going to be.
I got a guy.
I got a guy. He'll take care of that.
But she is fun.
She's a blast. She's look, one of a kind. One of a kind.
I couldn't imagine anything worse than being trapped in a room with her and Robin Williams on cocaine. But other than that, she's a ball of fun. Ball of fun.
She's a ball, all right. It would be an adventure. It has been.
all I can say is that I want Sicily either fall of 2024 or spring of 2025.
I was going to say, why don't y'all come? I have room this fall. Why don't y'all come?
When are you going to be there?
I will write. I'll tell you after. I'm leaving like August 24th, 25th, someplace in there. 20th, someplace at the end of August. I think the first group starts in September 4th. I got a couple of sellouts, but then I got tons of room. I would love to have you guys come. You would like it? You could.
I mean, how could we not have a hell of a good time? And you definitely you got a guy in Sicily too, I'm sure.
I got a guy. Sicily is the home of I got a guy.
They'd love me there. They'd
You are
love
so
me.
there. Look.
I am so there. Look.
I take Kristi to a birthday party. I used to have a birthday party every year. It was very small. This friend of ours, he met his girlfriend at one of my birthday parties. So then every year we would celebrate together. And so we go to this birthday party. This is the first year I knew Kristi. And I mean, it was a very sought after invitation. There were 10 places at the dining room table and there were 10 people at the party, and that's all there ever was. And there were no pictures and there were no real stories.
It's the way Diddy should have done it.
What'd you say?
It's the way Diddy should have done it. He
Exactly.
kept his circle small.
Keep your circle small. So anyway, this is the first year I meet Kristi. So I said, you come with me to my birthday party. And it's at a girlfriend's apartment, a girlfriend's condo. And so we go there, and the guy who's like in charge of the whole thing, how tall is he? 5'5", 5'6"?
Yeah, 5'7", yeah.
5'7", 5'8", yeah. So he's young, he's small. And so anyway, he looks at Kristi, who's got her, 4-inch heels and however tall you are, and he says, "You are so my look."
We've used that line. We've beat it to death over the years. I thought it was a great line.
Do we want to tell a Jojo story?
Tell a Jojo story.
Jojo.
There's so many.
Is Kristi's mother. And so we're at her wedding. We're at Kristi's wedding. And this particular guy, we're in Las Vegas, and he tells me, he says, "I really want to keep a low profile. I don't need everybody knowing that I'm here, blah, blah, blah." I said, okay.
Don't want no press. That's what you kept saying.
Don't want no press. I don't want any press. So we said, okay. So we walk into the reception, and he's telling me this as we walk through the doors. And Jojo is a fan of his. And
has a huge crush.
And has this huge crush on him. And she has since she was in her, 40s or whatever, 30s. And so she comes over, and I'm introducing her to him. I don't know if they had ever met before. And she saddles up next to him. She's got her hand on her hip, and she's got this low-cut gown on. She looked fabulous. And but she's really tall, and he's not. And so her bosom is right in, he turns to look at her, and she's like right up next to him, right? And he, he looks away, and he's trying to be respectful. And she says, "It's okay to take a second look, It's okay to take a second look."
And next thing you know, he's leading the Congo line.
Exactly. He's the low key.
I don't want any press. Nobody can know. Yeah.
He's in the center of a circle of 70-year-old women, dancing. It was great. And
he had a ball.
He had the best time. He still talks about it. But my other favorite JoJo story, if we're going to tell one of those, is Kristi, we're living in New Orleans, and a friend of hers from South Texas is coming from Freeport, right? Manny. And he asked her to go to dinner while he's in town. So Kristi mentions to Jojo that she's going to have dinner with him.
And
she
our
says-
families go back 50 years.
Yeah,
long time.
And so Jojo says, well, Kristi, you know he's Greek. And she says, yeah, we've known each other, or our families have known each other for 50 years. And she says, why? And she says, well, you know what they say about the Greeks. And Kristi and I are sitting there, we're like, no, what? She says, I don't remember, but it's not good. Okay, there you go.
Don't break bread.
But she's got you hanging on the edge. You do know what they say.
Hold on. I have not been able to get a clear answer about this story from anybody. Were you living at the ranch that Thanksgiving that the turkey supposedly was thrown in the lake?
Yes, not really the turkey, the side dishes is what she threw in the lake. She threw all the side.
Will you tell that story?
Yeah.
We're at the ranch, and for those that don't know, there's the main house, and then there's a number of little cabins throughout the ranch. And so Kristi, Wild Bill was there, and he wanted to cook the turkey with some sort of peanut butter, something or other. John wanted to.
Well, it turned to peanut butter.
No, hold on. I need her to tell this.
It was supposed to be peanut oil fried in.
Something. And so John wants to air fry a turkey. And then, so we've got 2 or 3 turkeys going on all these different ways, none of which were to Jojo's liking. But so she was relegated to doing sides. And so she's going to do the sides. Well, I don't even remember why she got so pissed off because she agreed to do them.
Well, because Bill was taking the oven, like there's 29 ovens on the ranch.
Right.
And
He was taking too long in the oven.
with his family recipe, and then remember he forgot to take the insides out.
Yeah.
She had a field day over that.
And so anyway, so Wild Bill's the turkey's taking too long in the oven, the other things are taking too long. We don't there's literally, she's saying 29, but there's easily a dozen or more ovens on the ranch.
There are, yeah. I mean,
There's a lot. And so she gets all pissed off, and she takes all the side dishes that she was supposed to be making and throws them in the lake.
and there's 40 people waiting to have lunch.
Oh yeah, everybody's waiting for lunch, and Jojo has thrown the
I'm
side dishes.
taking orders for Sonic if anybody cares.
Oh gosh, we had some holiday
Holiday cheer.
Oh my God.
When Sinclair was little, before y'all had the ranch, we're all together on Thanksgiving, and Sinclair wanted to bring some food to a homeless shelter.
Right.
He wakes up Thanksgiving morning to decide this is what she should do. And of course, we don't know where to get. So Kristi calls River Oaks Country Club and orders a half a dozen dinners or whatever it was. We find a women's shelter, which was a battered women's shelter, and we make arrangements that we're going to bring the food over. And Sinclair's all excited, and
She's so excited.
She's so excited, and we drive up, and it's a battered women's shelter, so you can't go in. They're very particular. They're very
bars on
They've got kids there. They don't know what's going to happen. And so we get there, we ring the bell. The lady opens the first door. We say that we're there. We're going to bring these dinners. She says, she opens the bars. She reaches out. She takes the shopping bag full of food, closes the bars, and says, "Okay, thank you," and closes the door. Sinclair looks back at us.
We don't say a word. I'm like, just don't look at her. I know what's happening. Sinclair is like, that's it.
And
She's
Sinclair
about 3.
She says, "Is that all there is?"
She goes, we didn't get our money's worth.
Exactly. It was, we have some holiday. Then there was the holiday, was it Christmas I had to take you to the hospital?
Well, that was
Yes.
what I was just getting ready to say is as far as I'm concerned, you're one of the reasons she's even alive.
Well, I should say the same about her.
I
But,
was so sick and just kept saying, I just needed a Z pack. I don't know
Yes.
why.
but
All I asked for was a Z pack.
And this wasn't that long. This is only 5 years ago, right?
yeah, maybe 5 years ago. Yeah. And so she was shooting, and I came down to check on her. I came over to the main house to check on her, and she's burning up with her. And I was like, that's it. Come on, we're going to the hospital. She had kidney stones.
and I had one lodged, and it had been lodged for like 3 weeks. So
Right.
I wasn't feeling it. It wasn't hurting, but it
Wasn't moving, so it wasn't hurting.
wasn't. And now 2 other stones had come in there, and
And she's in the hospital room with you when the anesthesiologist
I was
walks in.
and I keep telling the nurse, I just need a Z pack. And she's like, yeah, we're putting it in your IV. And I'm like, oh, good, thinking. And I'm like, so out of it, probably 104 fever. And this man walks in, and he's got anesthesiologist. And I'm looking at it upside down as he's reading the machines. And I said, did y'all not, everybody not able to wash and use their own stuff? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, why does yours say anesthesiologist? He said, well, I put people to sleep before they, no. I said, not me. I said, I just need a Z-Pack. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't want my legs chopped off, And the famous, Don Imus, do you remember? He was in the room next to me. He died. The famous radio. He was like Howard Stern's competition in New York. And so anyway, the doctor comes in and he's like, "You have urosepsis." And I said, "Okay, now I know y'all are messed up because I haven't been to Europe in like 5 years." And he goes, "No, you're going in. You're having surgery." And he's like, if she hadn't brought you in, you'd have been dead in 2 hours.
And so I called to the ranch to say, this is above my pay grade. I need some help here. And I was like, John's like trying to fix the sink, and everybody's pissed off because the food's late.
When did y'all leave for the hospital? I'm sure nobody's even noticed we've left.
Yeah, everybody's pissed off because the food's not ready and the sink's overflowing, and so just another holiday at the ranch.
Yeah,
Isn't that a true story?
Yes, another holiday.
so true.
Our finest
Shanna, Shanna will write a bestseller one day.
I think the three of you each could.
Probably so.
God forbid they do. Okay, well, ladies, are we
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Email us the information on Sicily and people. Sicilianadventures.com.
Right. I would love to have y'all. Maybe you could do a remote there.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome.
Love it.
How much fun
Okay.
would that be, huh? Okay,
So
ladies.
and the chef, the singer, and the muse
Chef, the Singer, and the Muse
on TikTok.
on TikTok. Okay?
All right. Well, we might have to have a check-in with you in a couple months and do some more old storytelling.
Yeah.
We could
We could do it from Sicily.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do it there. Nobody can touch us there.
Yeah. Surely they have immunity there.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, baby.
Thanks for coming on. We love you. Say
Thanks
goodnight,
for-
Lucy.
Good night, Lucy.
Good night, Lucy. Okay.